the main news, me and Johnny went to the Trump rally.
Oh, yeah.
So,
by the way, sorry if the verdict comes out before this comes out.
I know the verdict might come out. We're on the edge of our seats, so we can't really do it. We're hoping it's something
hopefully it takes them through the weekend.
I know. Wasn't that your big joke a few years ago? There was a hung jury. The guy shit his pants. There was a hung jury.
No.
You don't remember this clip?
That I did hung jury?
Basically, some guy shit his pants, and you go talk about a hung jury, and I go, what does that mean? And you go, it didn't really make sense. You don't remember this?
I don't remember it.
Call that a hung jury. The guy shit his pants. It was the guy that shit his pants in court.
Oh, in court? I don't know.
And you said, that's a hung jury. And I go, how? And you go, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
Sounds like a JJ joke.
It was a JJ joke. But, so we might be missing that. But it was interesting. It was like, because there's tons of press surrounding this, because the whole thing is he went to like the Bronx, but it wasn't even, the gentrified area of the Bronx. It was like kind of the hood, right?
Yeah. But he had to go to the Bronx because he has his trial, so he can't really travel that much. He went to DC on the weekend.
Well, that's a part what I was saying, because a lot of people were saying, oh, he's doing this rally in the Bronx, and it was like, yeah, because he has to be in New York, so he's going to do the Bronx. He's doing a New Jersey rally. It's because he has to be around.
He has to be around. Yeah, exactly. He legally just can't be. Which honestly, they're kind of doing him a favor. He doesn't have to do all these rallies, but he gets all the benefit of doing them essentially because of his trial. Like all the places he would have rallied.
Because there's so much publicity.
There's so much publicity, and then also like all the red states that he would have rallied in, people like understand that he's not there.
They already like him anyway. Yeah,
they like him anyways. They maybe like him more now.
Well, it was a tailgate party. Yeah, 100%. So the first thing is obviously it was way more multiracial, like whatever. It was all the different things, tons of all different races on each side, right? But there was basically, because I've seen a lot of lies, and you see how much the media lies whenever you're sort of close to any event.
Lying media.
Legitimately, dude, there was an article recently on CNN's viewership on their main shows, and it's like 60, 70,000. Like the Boyscast has more viewers than like CNN's main
prime
shows.
time, I know.
Well, the
audience, man, have you seen the breakdown? Their audiences, Fox and CNN, are literally like their core audience is
95,
68 and up or something.
Of course,
like it's just old people. It's just like super old people.
Well, it's probably, and the people that isn't that is places that it's just on. Like when they were
the airports, that shit that they have
airports or gyms or whatever like that. That's like bringing down their total is like stuff where that's just not even a guy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But anyway,
I can't imagine anyone under 30 is just like cranking CNN.
They probably don't even have cable. Like if you're under 30, what are the odds that you even have cable news to watch news?
Yeah, so when we're talking about Don Lemon's show not having that much viewers, it might be an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, not from COVID, but everybody was fucking locked inside and watching TV and stuff. So that was some.
Well, they get all their money because of their cable package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a kind of like a scam through and through. But the interesting part was there were definitely like a lot of counter protesters, but really there was way more of like six libs. Standing there with signs, and then 10,000 reporters filming.
Mostly just reporters.
Me included. Yeah, like when we first went there, I was like, there's 45 people doing what I'm doing. Like we were the majority of in the like section where all the protesting was happening. Yeah. The majority was one lib being like Trump's a piece of shit with 19 microphones in his face, right?
And then that's the story is like counter protesters at the Trump thing. And you're like, that's not the story.
There's a few more that showed up after, but the main part of the line, there was kind of like 5 or 6 people yelling how Trump sucks, and then a line of like thousands of people, and then they would come by and be like, fuck you libs, and they'd be like, well, fuck you, and then you kind of go in, right? But people were mostly partying, right? Yeah, if you want to go to my other channel and watch Finding the Straightest Guy at the Trump rally. But the interesting part was, for starters, I would say that going to one of those rallies, whether you're Republican or Democrat, waiting in like 4-hour line to see someone talk is like, you're basically a grown man waiting in line like you're going to a Taylor Swift concert. Like it was a long ass.
Well, you got to go through Secret Service. I signed up for it, but then I ended up going to the Trey concert. But
buddy, they got Secret Service. They have snipers everywhere. Like it really was. If you were to cause a little too much hustle bustle once you got past this line, you're in trouble.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, the Secret Service, they'll
You got fucking guns pointed into the crowd.
Yeah, they're shooting first, asking questions later.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, in New York, you probably think they're probably like they're a little more concerned about that stuff.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have like, and then there was what's crazier than I guess I can sort of see like you and your buddies being like, this is an event, you're having some beers. It's like still waiting in 4 hours. I'd probably be like, yeah, miss me with that. Even if it was like someone I really loved. I don't know.
I don't know who I'd want to see talk that badly.
I could wait in line for 4. I think I would have went and we'd be like, if we were talking like, yo, you want to go to that rally? That'd be kind of fun. And then we went, there was a 4-hour line. We'd be like, we're not doing that. Obviously.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts, right? But crazier than that probably is being like a lib waiting in line for 4 hours to get mad.
Did they go in though?
A few of them, yeah. There was one lady with a swastika sign,
really,
saying that Trump's a Nazi.
Right. Yeah,
and then she was like waiting. She was in the line, basically waited in line for 5 hours to sit there.
Just hate it. Yeah, it's important that I'm here, just so Trump knows that I think he's a Nazi.
Yeah, like you could have just like went to the thing if you wanted to protest and then watched the speech after. You didn't really need to be there and soak it up.
No, because the point is everybody sees that you're protesting as they're going in, so at least.
Yeah, but once you're in, now you're just at a concert, so you're sort of just like squished up against a bunch of people standing there with your sign.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, woo! And you're just like, boo, I guess.
Or maybe their thing is they want to be like there was a swastika at the Trump rally, and they go, yeah, it was a person who hated him.
Oh, you think it was that? That's a good point.
Maybe that's the angle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the funniest part for me, probably, of the whole thing, and probably Johnny would agree with, there's a bunch of these people. There was a sort of a fight that broke up at one point, right? And it was this like fat Trump dude and like and a fat black Biden guy. There was like two like sumo wrestling, basically,
really?
Right? Yeah, real big boys. And then they were sort of screaming at each other. And then the Trump people were like, so they were like, Trump, fuck you. I can't remember the exact chant, but something about Trump, fuck you, fuck Trump, right?
Yeah.
And then the people goes, yeah, well, fuck Biden too. And they go, we don't like him either. Then he goes, oh.
All right.
A couple
any impersonators there?
Every time the fake Trump showed up, it threw the whole place for a whirl. Legit, and us too, because the whole fake Trump would show up and the whole place would go, oh, and then every crowd.
I thought he was just walking through.
No one knew what was going on.
So
and then you'd show up and it would just be a guy in a fake Trump, and everyone would go, they foiled us again. I saw two Republican guys. They come by and he goes, fucking Trump. And the other guy goes, Trump. And they just high five. Two guys that didn't know each other just high fiving Trump so hard. But there was this one guy that was yelling at, there was like a black Biden guy that was like one of the protesters there, and then like a frat boy Trump guy, and they were like yelling at each other. And my guy goes, fuck you, he's a fucking pussy. And he goes, cry harder. And he goes, why don't you go watch CNN? Why don't you go watch Don Lemon? Oh, wait, you can't.
Oh, no.
He goes, yeah, why don't you
I watch him on YouTube. So, there.
That good? Why don't you go home and watch Don Lemon? Oh, wait, you can't.
What a burn. What a burn.
The burns coming either way weren't great. Well, it was also funny because they kept saying that he was like a racist. A lot of the lib protesters were like, he's a racist white supremacist, and they're yelling this at like a bunch of black people. Yeah. Like, and Cubans and whatever.
Like, don't you know you're about to go see a racist white supremacist?
Like you don't know, like the guy was going to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize that the president was...
That's why kind of like the De Niro thing where Robert DeWeirdo.
That was kind of an interesting thing that it was like the Biden, like he didn't just show up for himself. Like Biden put him up to that. Like that was like
I know he's part of the thing.
That was like an official Biden press conference, essentially, to just trot Robert De Niro out there, and then all these people are like, "Your fucking movies suck. You're washed up," and he's like.
Trump tweeted that he's a weak man, like blah blah, all the things, but. It was a fucking gay speech, dude.
Yeah, it was. But also,
he came across like a fucking dork.
For sure. It's just such a weird thing that you're like, Robert De Niro is doing a press conference outside of Donald Trump's trial.
Yeah.
You're like, why? And then it was just like, it's put on by the DNC. Like,
I think that was a bad idea.
It was an official DNC thing.
Because it really was one of those things where that kind of stuff worked a little better probably 8 years ago, but everyone's been watching the whole thing, heard all of the opinions, made up their mind. Anyone who's reasonable, their take on it isn't like Biden's the savior and Trump's like the devil. They're just like, most people probably have things they like or things they don't like, or they're just, their mind's made up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just like, yeah, I don't think Trump's the devil, but I don't really like how everyone gets riled up and it's fucking the world's over and that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's their plan, being like, expect more of this if he gets elected. They're like, hey, see how you have to have Robert De Niro yelling at you? You want 4 more years of this shit?
4 more years of Bobby D.
That's their
One
plan.
of your favorite actors of all time, spoiling his legacy for you and the movies he made, huh?
Do you see how much this wrecks people's brains? Is that what you want?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So maybe that was their plan?
I don't know.
Just being like, remember this era?
Crazy to think Trump, I don't know if he'll go to jail right away if he gets convicted, or like if he has, what happens about
I feel like we can't talk about that too much because we're going to fucking, anything we say is going to be wrong potentially.
Well, I know, but just like next week, it might just be, I'm sure it'll be in a week from now, it'll probably be settled.
Yeah.
And then if he's innocent, then he's like just on to the next trial? Like, is that how that works?
I guess so.
The next thing?
Yeah, the De Niro thing really did strike me as like,
lame.
You watch it and you're just like, what? I took his quotes here. He goes, he wants to destroy New York. Like you're like, that's anyone with a brain's just like, yeah, that's Trump's goal to just destroy New York.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. He wants to
destroy the world. I was like,
again, he already had the 4 years that you promised us he would do all of these things.
Well, they're saying it's going to be worse this time.
But it wasn't. What do you mean? But you said all these things last time.
If you reelect him, he's never going to leave office. He's going to make himself a tyrant for life. And it's like, no one really believes it. So it's just it's an old man yelling at the clouds is what it feels like.
Nobody actually thinks he's going to stay for life. He's also, 77 right now?
The fact with De Niro that's so lame is his fake tough guy persona.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a drama kid.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're a drama kid who just like happened to be these tough guys.
Yeah. It's like if me and you just like one day started being like, and take fucking, you want to come to the Boyscast, you're going to have fucking physical problems. Like it was like, yeah, we're not those guys.
No.
And De Niro in it, if he wasn't in mob movies, he could easily be like prancing around on fucking Broadway right now.
Yeah. I mean, he could have just been the Meet the Fockers guy, minus like.
Well, Meet the Fockers wouldn't even happen if it wasn't those. Yeah,
Goodfellas and all that stuff,
I know.
So.
Also, well, the last, there's two different ways I could go, but I think we should mention the Trump at the Libertarian convention because there's so much fucking libertarian drama. Yeah, you were going to go.
We should have gone.
I don't know. I had enough stuff to do.
I know, but it just looked like a fucking.
But Dave Smith is like the center of that whole thing.
Yeah.
I told you that. I always think that's cool when it was like kind of like our buddies are sort of like the center of the whole like American politics.
American political party.
It's kind of like,
I mean, they're polling almost under 1%.
Yeah, but they're
as a party.
But they're influential. I think that's the whole thing. That like Dave and all those guys, they have these like huge audiences. So they're very influential.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Trump went there to. Trump was like getting heckled and stuff. It was crazy. Like he was legitimately like if you ever seen like we've obviously seen it a million times where a comedian's just like fighting an audience at like a bar show. That's like the vibe of his talk. Is like the originally all the MAGA people, because there were tons of MAGA people who showed up just to see Trump, like they weren't libertarians, and then they all sat like in the front rows because they got I think they got there first, so they sat up front, and then the libertarians were like, no, you have to leave, like you not leave the thing, but the libertarians want to sit up front so that we can basically boo him.
It's like when you're filming, you want to put hot people up front.
Kind of. yeah, the hot libertarians up front.
It wasn't an option in this case, probably.
No, but anyways, but then apparently the MAGA people did move to the back, and then the libertarians went up front, and then they were booing. I like the Ross Ulbricht thing though. That was good. He said he would pardon him day one.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, whether he actually does that or not.
Yeah, he kind of like he negged them a little bit because he basically went up and he was like, "You guys can keep being pathetic if you want to."
Keep getting 3%. You go, they're not even getting that many percent, not even close.
He was basically like picking up a girl where you're just like, I mean, you can keep fucking these losers, or if you want a real man with a fucking nice piece, you can come my way.
Pretty much.
You're not ready for that though.
Yeah, you're not ready for that.
You couldn't handle me.
All you can handle is just losing and losing more.
If you keep losing, keep doing what you're doing. It's working for you. No, we're good, but I'll be over here if you're looking for it.
Yep.
But the interesting part was, I guess there's the two different types of libertarians. It's kind of like the Ron
Mises
Paul guys, which is Dave and all those guys.
Yeah.
And then there's the other guys, which they don't make as much sense. They kind of like, they pick the libertarian stuff they're for, but it's all like the wrong order, in my opinion. It's kind of like we want open borders before, but also we're not really focused too much on the socialism state. And then on top of that, they're kind of like, we want more, trans in kids. Like they sort of pick and choose like the gayest parts to
for sure. I mean, I did
promoting, I guess.
in Colorado. I did their libertarian, like their presidential debate, where I saw all these guys debate, and some of them are like, no private land, like there's no such thing as, or there's no private borders or something so there's no borders in America. It's just private land, and then I guess if you are on
except we don't live in that world though. That's not the case.
But you're trying to get normal people to vote for you, and you're putting out these like insane ideas that the average person is like, that's crazy. I would never vote for someone who's like open borders, but we'll make it all private. So then at least if you have land on the border, you can defend your land. You're like, I don't want to start an army.
Right.
Just because I happen to live near the fucking Mexico. I don't need a gun turret in my backyard. Now, some people are probably like, I would love a gun turret in my backyard where I could just shoot to kill.
But
normal people are like, I don't want that.
Those guys I probably like more.
Yeah.
The other guys, it feels like when you're like in Vancouver or whatever, and you're like, I probably think that drugs should be more legal. But it's like when you go to Vancouver and you go, everyone's getting free drugs and it's just heroin addicts on the street, and you go, probably the first place to start as a libertarian wouldn't be more drugs for these guys.
No.
You go, just like from a logical perspective, that wouldn't be the first place I start.
But
you know what I mean?
Principle. They go like,
but that's not principles. It's picking and choosing, right? It's kind of like a media.
Exactly.
It's the media says like, hey, yes, we're not biased. We don't lie. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying you could be a media channel that doesn't lie, but it's like, yes, but you only cover this thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
you choose
what you cover. So there's always that. So it's like, if you're saying here's all libertarian principles, but you always pick the ones that should be last, it's still, anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, that guy won, but I don't get it. Do you get why he won?
Well,
I thought Dave and those guys sort of like took back the thing or whatever.
No, well, I know he liked Mike Rechtenwald, who was like, I think he was close to the favorite, but he showed up, he was high on edibles during his speech. He was all like he was fucked up, man, during his speech because he's a libertarian, so he was like just getting blasted on edibles.
Someone was telling me they were partying with that guy.
I was partying with him in his hotel room.
I didn't want to rat you out.
No, I said, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I thought you would have said that if you weren't trying to.
I think I said it on the show.
Oh, no, you didn't. You told me this.
Anyways, no, we were partying at the dude. They're all like, they all like to have fun. They're libertarians, but that guy Chase Oliver who won, it was like when you watch them debate, you go like, this guy's the most polished.
He was just a better candidate.
He's just like if you look at who has the best chance of winning, I don't think
the other guy's like smoking a cigarette during his speech.
And they're like they're just not like, they don't have the polish of like you would want of a politician. And I don't know if maybe they're like, that's not what's required necessarily, but in terms of you're trying to get people to, come over to your side, and you're trying to pick the best candidate. And I know lots of people disagreed. They don't think he was the best candidate, but I guess like people
how'd he win then? That's what
people I spoke with. But then
am I just fucking not tapped in? Because to me it felt like Dave and those guys were sort of the predominant voice, and then they lost the election. So I was like, well, what happened? They just didn't have a good candidate, I guess.
Well, I think he came. Their candidate.
This is all cosplaying politics a little bit.
Yeah, again, they're not winning anything. And here's the thing: they it was Gary Johnson in 2016 I think 2016 or 2020.
That guy was a snooze fest.
But he got 4% of the vote, which was like the highest
Pretty
they
high,
ever got.
actually.
But it's because everybody hated both the options. So then, like, because people hated both options so much, like that's how the Libertarians got. But like they're polling under 1%.
But I guess the benefit is when you have like a second party or a third party or fourth party or whatever, you're like, okay, well, they have to use us to like win the election.
Yeah, especially when it's narrow margins, and that's great when you have 2% or 3%. They are currently like, one of the guys who was running, I can't remember which one, but he was like, we're currently polling at 0%. Over 0, under 1% kind of thing. So anyways, the guy Mike Rechtenwald, he I think came in second, so it was close. But yeah, I don't know. But the Chase Oliver guy, he's like gay. He believes like totally fine for like to cut the kids' dicks off. Like he's very libertarian.
Tweeting all this stuff.
Yeah, like all that shit. But he's like a very eloquent speaker, and he was definitely, when you watch the debate, you go, this is by far the best guy.